Hello, this is Anthony. Let's walk and talk. So today, I want to talk about an experience I had the other day. It was caught like a reminder of all things. I was in solitude, just relaxing, doing my morning routine, and suddenly I could just feel the peace and the warmth and the comfort around me. And I recognize that feeling because I feel it quite a bit. But in this moment, it was very profound. Because in this moment, I recognized what it really was, and it was Source. It was God, Creator. And it was emanating from me and from all around me. You see, and I think that, one of the reasons that I'm doing this particular video is really more as to point out the reminder. Because, I think that in our everyday world, we walk through and we imagine that God is outside of us, that God is external from us. And the the issue with this concept is that when you believe that God is external, then it's difficult for you to actually feel that connection that you have with Creator on a daily basis. And to remember that the universe at Source not only exists around us, but exists within us, is a powerful, powerful understanding of life. Because when you understand life in that manner, it's easier for you to understand that all things that are happening have purpose, and that all things that are happening have connection. That all things that are happening, that there is no coincidence, that things are, that there's synchronicities and patterns all around us that are undeniable. You see, and the issue is I think that as we experience the world today, what happens is most people get caught up in that mode of survival, just trying to make enough money to buy food or to have shelter, or in some cases, making more than they need and allowing their ego to get them locked and caught up into materialism and consumerism. And the issue with this, in and of itself, if you can, keep yourself grounded, is not so much an issue. But when you get caught up in the programming of materialism and consumerism, what you understand is that programming is programming, and it is for purpose. And the purpose is to almost replace your connection with God with a connection with the material around you, but not in a spiritual manner, more in a acquisition manner. Like I've said this before, when I was a child, when I was a teen, one of the things that, the sayings that went around is, he who dies with the most toys wins. And when you actually recognize that is a complete falsehood of life, and it's a programming mantra in and of itself, you begin to understand that these things don't provide you happiness. They don't bring you happiness. But when you can feel and recognize that connection with Source, it's warm, it's calm, it's inviting. It's like a loving embrace. And that loving embrace is something that I think when we incarnate here and, we allow the ego to guide our journey, we forget exists. And so what we end up doing is we end up searching external of us for that warm, loving embrace. We search for that in accomplishments and in other people. And in all the things around us that later in life you recognize really don't have the value that you were told that it has. And the problem with that is that it pulls you further and further away from your connection with source. It pulls you further and further away with the expansion of consciousness. You see, and what we end up doing is we end up finding ways to numb. And we talk about this a lot. The fact that, we run, and the mind goes and the ego chases. And then what ends up happening in the end is we end up, at the end of the day, going to the familiar to numb us, to shut us down, to keep us away from the things that require our healing. And ultimately that keeps us away from that quiet connection that is that warm embrace. Again, the journey is different for everyone. But when you understand that this quiet comfort is always there, it's always waiting, it's always inviting you, and it doesn't require anything external. It doesn't require your mind to agree or understand. It doesn't require anything but quieting your mind and being present. When you understand that, then you have that connection to it every single moment of every single day. You see, we talk about this a lot too, how the ego, in order for the ego to survive, it requires time and it requires focus on the past and on the future. But even science is beginning to show that as you master yourself, as you can master the moment, as you can change your understandings and your beliefs, essentially what you do is you change your past. And some people believe that you're not really changing your past, you're changing the timeline that your consciousness exists on. I know this is this gets to be a little bit of a deep topic, but as we begin to understand that timelines exist and that maybe there are infinite versions of you on certain timelines or in a certain path, that what happens is your consciousness is just essentially, as you evolve and change, is leaping from one timeline to another, maybe when you sleep, for instance, and you're not even aware of it. I know there's a lot of discussion about this because there's a lot of discussion about things like the Mandela effect, and is that what is actually occurring? But, I'm digressing into some of this because really all of this is about that one piece, that connection with source that just allows you to be able to enjoy the experience in whatever it is that you're having, whether you choose to judge it or whether you just choose to accept it. You see, many times the programming in our belief system is what allows us to look at the external events and judge them in terms of positive or negative. And we judge them in terms of positive or negative because, again, it's much like time. It allows the ego to essentially lock itself into the moment and take you out of the moment, take you out of that connection, take you out of that peace and that harmony, that warm hug that awaits you whenever you choose. And I think that when you see all this as an experience that you chose to have, an experience that is essentially here for you to evolve, learn, and grow in self, that's when you can really change how you experience this time. See if I can get out of the wind a little bit here so that we can have a conversation without a lot of blowing. Not sure if that's going to work or not, but let's just sit here for a minute. Feel that breeze come over. Sit next to this nice, big, beautiful tree and just connect with the earth around us. You see, most people, they forget that all this that we are experiencing right now is us. It's not separate from us. We are the all. We are all around us. We are connected to Creator. We are connected to nature. And really, truly, that's I believe why we find ourselves at the most peace and harmony in life when we are out in nature. It's almost like it's easier when you hear that breeze and that quiet. It's like it is easier than to connect with and feel that warm embrace. But what say you? Do you think that that warm embrace awaits you? Do you feel like it's something external to you? Do you understand the purpose and the reason for this journey and the growth and the evolution of your soul? I'm curious as to your thoughts. As always, if you enjoy this content, please like, share, and subscribe. I am truly grateful. And until I talk to you again, peace, love, light. I hope you have the most amazing day.